You've waited decades for this. Retirement. No more early alarms, packed schedules, or office politics. Just freedom. But here's something nobody warns you about. Retirement happiness isn't a guarantee. In fact, some of the things we think are helping us relax might actually be quietly stealing our joy. And the worst part? We often don't even realize it's happening. Retirement isn't just a vacation. It's a psychological transition. And if you're feeling unfulfilled, these 8 sneaky habits might be to blame. Today we'll uncover all 8 habits so you can spot them before they take root. Because retirement shouldn't feel like drifting, it should feel like thriving. Let me know how you feel about this subject. Comment 1 if it makes sense to you, and 0 if it's not a subject you're interested in. This way I will know what you enjoy and can make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Habit number 1, clinging too tightly to your old identity. For 30, 40, even 50 years, you knew yourself as the provider, the caretaker, the problem solver. That title wasn't just your job, it was your identity. And now, it's gone. That loss can feel like grief. You might catch yourself saying, I used to be someone important, or nobody needs me anymore. Psychologists call this an identity crisis, and it's one of the biggest happiness killers in retirement. Here's the reframe. Retirement isn't about losing who you were, it's about discovering who you are now. Maybe you're the grandparent who tells epic bedtime stories, the neighbor who grows prize-winning roses, the amateur historian who finally writes that family memoir. Your worth isn't tied to your job title. It's tied to you, the parts of you that now have room to breathe. My Uncle Frank's entire identity was Mr. Thompson, the principal. At retirement parties, people toasted his decades of service. But once the applause faded, he felt invisible. One day, his 8-year-old granddaughter asked, Papa, what do you do all day? He realized he didn't have an answer that felt meaningful. Then something beautiful happened. Frank started volunteering at the animal shelter, something he'd loved as a boy but never had time for. He would text me photos of him cradling a rescue puppies with the caption, "Meet the new assistant principals." That's when I understood. Retirement isn't losing who you were, it's finally meeting all the other yous waiting inside. Try this. Write your old job title on a piece of paper. Then burn it, or safely, or tear it up. Say out loud, I'm more than what I did for money. Write down 3 roles you've always wanted to explore but never had time for. Volunteer tutor, travel photographer, pickleball champion. This is your permission slip to try them. Habit number 2, throwing out all structure. After a lifetime of rigid schedules, it's tempting to rebel. No alarms, no plans, just whatever happens. But here's what neuroscience tells us. Our brains crave rhythm. Too little structure leads to aimless days, restless nights, and a sneaky sense of, what did I even do today? My neighbor Eileen was so excited to ditch her rigid work schedule. For 3 glorious months, she stayed in pajamas till noon, ate cereal for dinner, and binged entire TV series in one sitting. Then she called me in tears. I feel like I'm disappearing. We created a simple rhythm. Morning tea on her porch, no phone, a 10 a.m. walk with purpose, even just around the block, and story time at 3, where she'd read memoirs aloud to her cat. Within weeks, she told me, I don't need a boss. I need beats in my day. Now she leads a memoir writing group at the library every Thursday. Structure set her free. You don't need a spreadsheet for your free time, but small rituals like a morning coffee on the porch, a 10 a.m. walk, or a weekly book club act like guardrails for your happiness. They give your day shape and your mood stability. Think of it like this. Structure isn't a cage. It's the trellis that helps your joy grow upward. Try this. Pick one anchor for your day, a 15-minute stretch after breakfast, a crossword puzzle with lunch, and watch how it changes your sense of purpose. Habit number 4, isolating without realizing it. This one creeps up silently. You tell yourself, I'm just enjoying the peace and quiet. But weeks go by, and suddenly you realize you haven't had a real conversation with anyone outside the grocery cashier. Loneliness isn't just a feeling, it's a health risk, linked to higher rates of depression, anxiety, even dementia. After my dad retired, he'd go days without speaking to anyone but the TV. When I asked why, he said, I don't want to bother people. Then his old barber, Sal, called out of the blue. "Joe, your 2 p.m. Tuesday slot's been empty for months. You stealing my best jokes?" That phone call saved him. They used to have standing appointments, not just haircuts, but coffee after. My dad told me, "It turns out people weren't too busy for me. I was too proud to ask." And listen, if you're an introvert, this isn't about forcing yourself to host dinner parties. It's about micro connections, a phone call with an old coworker, a wave to the mail carrier, joining a gardening forum online. Even small interactions light up the parts of our brain that say, "You belong here." Try this. Reach out to one person this week, not to catch up, but to say, "I was thinking about you." That's it. No pressure, just presence. Now, let's talk about the next 3 habits, because sometimes the things we think are making us happy aren't. But don't worry, we'll fix that too. Now, here's where things get really interesting, because some of these next habits, they disguise themselves as happiness. We think we're doing ourselves a favor, but psychology says otherwise. Let's pull back the curtain on these sneaky joy stealers one by one. Habit number 4, comparing your retirement to everyone else's. Ever catch yourself scrolling through social media, seeing photos of your old coworkers on safari or your neighbor's grandkids gathered around a perfect Thanksgiving table, and suddenly your quiet Tuesday feels small? That's the comparison trap, and it's poison for retirement happiness. Here's the truth nobody posts. That safari couple might be bickering nonstop off camera. Those grandkids probably spilled gravy on the rug 5 seconds later. Comparison doesn't just steal joy, it lies to you. Research shows that people who focus on intrinsic goals, what truly matters to them, are happier than those chasing highlight reel lives. Maria, our retired billing clerk, nearly drove herself crazy comparing her quiet retirement to her sister's nonstop adventure Instagram posts. Then, one visit, she noticed something. Her sister's perfect RV life? The photos hid the leaky roof, the fights about directions, the nights spent in Walmart parking lots. Maria started her own behind-the-filter journal. Instead of envying others' highlights, she'd write what she loved about her ordinary Tuesday, the smell of her lemon tree, the freedom to nap. Last month, her sister admitted, "I'm actually jealous of your peace." Next time you feel that envy creeping in, ask yourself, if nobody else would ever see or praise this, would it still make me happy? Plant a garden just for the smell of basil. Take up watercolors even if they'll never hang in a gallery. This is your story, not someone else's sequel. Habit number 5, chasing pleasure without purpose. This one's tricky because, of course, you deserve pleasure after decades of hard work. But here's the catch. When days are filled with only leisure, endless TV, shopping trips, golf, something starts to feel hollow. Psychologists call this the hedonic treadmill. We keep chasing fun, but the happiness fades faster each time. What's missing? Purpose. The sense that your day mattered in some small way. And no, that doesn't mean starting a second career. Purpose can be as simple as teaching your grandkid to bake your famous cookies, volunteering 1 hour a week at the library, or even keeping a journal to preserve family stories. It's not about scale, it's about meaning. My friend Carl retired to Florida dreaming of endless golf. By year 2, he told me, "I've played 300 rounds, and remember maybe 3. Then he spotted a "Reading Buddies" sign at the library. Now he spends Tuesday mornings helping second graders sound out words. Last week, a shy little boy handed him a note, "You're my favorite grandpa here." Carl framed it next to his retirement clock. That's the magic. Purpose isn't about changing the world, it's about mattering to one person, one moment at a time. Ask yourself, what's one tiny thing I can do this month that would make me feel useful? Not impressive, just alive.
Habit number 6, getting stuck in the past. Retirement gives us something dangerous, too much time to think. And when our brains aren't busy with the future, they love to replay the past. Old regrets, missed chances, if-onlys. But rumination, that's psychology's fancy word for obsessive overthinking, is linked to depression and anxiety. Our brains need something to look forward to, no matter how small. My grandfather spent years replaying his biggest regret, not taking that job offer in 1978. Then, at 80, he overheard my cousin say, "Papa's always talking about the past." It shocked him into action. He started a future memories list, things to experience while he still could. He became the kind of fun grandpa all kids wish for. One study found that simply anticipating a pleasant event, like a coffee date or a new book release, boosts happiness more than the event itself. The trick? Give your brain future projects, not just past reruns. Try this. Once a week, jot down one thing to look forward to next month. A new recipe to try? A road trip to that antique shop you've always meant to visit? It's like giving your happiness a compass pointing ahead. Now, we've come to the last two habits, and these might be the most surprising of all, because they're not about what we do in retirement, but what we ignore. And when we start paying attention, that's when the real magic happens. Habit number 7, neglecting your emotional fitness. Here's something we don't talk about enough. Retirement isn't just a career change, it's an emotional earthquake. Even if you wanted to retire, you might feel unexpected grief, restlessness, or even guilt for not being grateful enough. And too often we brush those feelings aside, thinking, I shouldn't complain, I'm lucky to be retired. But here's what psychologists know. Emotions buried alive don't die, they fester. And retirement strips away the one thing that used to distract us from them, a busy schedule. Now, with all this quiet, those feelings finally have room to speak up. And that's actually good news, because it means you can finally heal them. After my sister retired, she insisted she was fine until she burst into tears at a bird feeder commercial. That's when she started Tea Time Truths. Every afternoon, she'd name one real feeling out loud. Today, I feel useless. Today, I feel free. Some days, she'd cry into her chamomile. Others, she'd toast herself with it. But over time, she told me, I stopped being scared of my own heart. Once a day, pause and ask yourself, what am I really feeling right now? Just name it, no judgment. Then do something radical. Just let it be there. Anxiety? Let it sit with you like an old friend who needs to talk. Sadness? Give it space like a rainstorm that needs to pass. Emotional fitness isn't about being happy all the time. It's about letting yourself be human without resistance. Habit number 8, treating habits as optional. Here's the irony. Now that you have all the time in the world, it's easier than ever to say, I'll do it later. That morning walk? I'll go tomorrow. Meal prep? I can just grab something. But neuroscience shows that small, consistent habits are the invisible scaffolding of happiness, especially as we age. Your circadian rhythm, mood, and even cognitive sharpness rely on gentle daily rhythms. It's not about discipline, it's about self-care. Think of habits like brushing your teeth. You don't debate whether to do it, it's just what you do because it keeps you healthy. Retirement habits should feel the same way, not like chores, but like gifts to your future self. My yoga teacher, a vibrant 72-year-old, shared her secret. I've done sun salutations every morning for 40 years, not because I'm disciplined, but because I promised my future self I would. She showed me her 1984 journal entry. Dear old me, if you can still touch your toes, we win. Last week, she did a headstand. Game over. Try this. Pick one keystone habit, something so simple you can't say no. 5 minutes of stretching when you wake up. A 10-minute walk after lunch. Write it down and tape it where you'll see it, and pair it with something you already do, like drinking your morning coffee. Tiny steps, big rewards. So there they are, the 8 sneaky habits that might be dimming your retirement joy. But here's the most important thing. Knowing them is half the battle. And the other half is giving yourself permission to change. Slowly, gently, and without judgment. Maybe today you'll call an old friend instead of scrolling through their vacation photos. Maybe tomorrow you'll try that watercolor class you've been curious about. Or maybe you'll just sit quietly and ask yourself, what do I need right now? And actually listen to the answer. Because retirement isn't about being perfect, it's about being present. It's your time, finally, to explore, to rest, to be. And that's worth celebrating. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these habits resonated most? Type the number in the comments. Or maybe you found another secret to retirement happiness. Share your thoughts below, because your wisdom might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. If this video helped you, hit that like button. It means more folks will see it. And if you're not subscribed yet, well, we'd love to have you join us. Until next time, remember, your best years aren't behind you. They're whatever you choose to make them. Retirement isn't an ending. It's your chance to become the person you never had time to be. So choose one story that inspired you. Try it for 7 days. Notice what changes. And enjoy the journey. Until next time, stay blessed.